Welcome, Virgo. This is Regina from Pacific Tarot, getting ready to do a new moon in Pisces reading for you, active on the 18th of this month, about the time you're receiving this reading. This is going to impact you particularly in the area of partnerships and relationships, significant others, I should say. And of course, significant others can be an individual, a group of individuals, or it can be a passion, an opportunity, a project, a gift. It can be your audiences, etc. So that is widely interpreted, but we often see it reflected in our significant relationships. So I pulled a couple of oracle cards, and for you, I pulled the card Attachment. And this is related to the atlas vertebrae. The energy archaeology looks at the energy pathways of various bones in your skeleton. And this is between the skull and the spinal column. It's the connection between those two. So when this card is in balance, when these energies are in balance, the keywords are connection, integration, and trust. And the wisdom reads, attachment is your foundation for belonging. Whether you identify as belonging more to the heavens or the earth, to a community or yourself, how you feel about this belonging is both the primal and spiritual medicine. Secure attachment does not grasp, struggle, push away, disown, hoard, abandon, or manipulate. These are indications of misaligned attachment. The embodied medicine of secure attachment often appears as non-attachment. It is settled and wise. It knows that people and things can come and go, appear still, appear immediately close or infinitely far away, and you're still safe. You still belong. You still have a place and a home and the security that you crave and desire. You're still interconnected to all things. You're safe in your attachment and secure in the way you belong. This knowledge resonates through your spine and body from this place of embodiment. This is beautiful. And it is coupled with the good fortune from the Talismanic Oracle. It's interesting because it feels as though you arrived at some place that is significantly profound to you. And in part, you are a person that is comfortable on your own, that is comfortable with your task of service, that can spend many comfortable and enjoyable hours researching, planning, sorting, detailing, and that this has become a place where you understand that the sense of belonging to yourself is honored, something that you honor. But it has taken a long time for you to appreciate this sense of connection with yourself, with your gift. And I think that you're experiencing an environment where you are recognizing this connection in a way that is positive, that is generative, that is comforting, that allows you to feel secure, to trust yourself, to honor and respect your needs and desires in a way that has perhaps been a source of frustration or sorrow for you in the past. So the cards I got for the sun and moon came out in a very unusual way, and so I just took them all. So this is me seeing them for the first time. Okay, so the Lady of Staffs and the Lord of Swords, and the Ace of Swords is something that brings you together. This feels like an existing relationship in your life. It may be one where there's been great distance or a separation, a significant separation. It may be something that was abandoned or rejected by one or both of you, and it feels as though there is and has been a lack of trust on both parts of the relationship, that there's a feeling that two people so different, so unique, couldn't possibly create a functional relationship together. Perhaps a sense of fear that the possibilities seem too overwhelming, that people that align themselves as independents or as something of loners, as originals certainly, could find so much potential together in a way that was beyond your particular experience, but one you recognized as possible, but ultimately turned away from. So there's a pretty intense narrative that is coming through for Virgos. Whichever side you associate with, I do believe that you were a very productive blend of inspiration and practicality. I'm not sure who was who, or if you both very successfully combine those qualities within yourselves as individuals. I do feel one of you is much more stable and successful than the other, but the other is as passionate, inspired, and gifted, talented, as expressive as ever. Somehow there is a truth that is emerging through this relationship, through this connection, that is leaning on the trust and the love and respect that you have gained for yourselves as individuals. And that may have been something that was missing in the past for one or both of you. This inability to trust, this sense of making sure that there was no real opportunity for something to reveal itself. And the fear, the abandonment, the discomfort, even with the sense of intense connection that you felt. I feel like at the very least there is a conversation here that will be powerfully helpful and supportive to one or both of you. And it feels like it's part of uh, working together on something that perhaps you were always intended or meant to work together on. There's some truth, and this truth lends itself to or leans into some sense of cultural justice that your work was surrounds or is embedded in. And together you can have an impact that neither one of you can quite have in the same way as individuals. In the present, the Six of Staffs. This is interesting because I think you have found a sense of belonging in your community, your organization, your work, your family. You've found a role. You have been able to embed your individuality in a collaborative team or effort where you accept your role and responsibility as one of many, as part, a sustaining part, functioning part of a community, of a collective in which you truly belong. And this is something that you have had to teach yourself, you've had to learn, and it's something apparently you've learned very well because you are a successful, highly successful part of that community, and you bring a sense of success and growth to whatever endeavor you work on as a team. So you are highly regarded by your peers, by your colleagues. They value your competence, your capability, and your creative genius that somehow is inspiring others to work in a certain very equitable, non-hierarchical way. In the past, the Nine of Cups indicates this growth, this healing that you have experienced, that you have taken a lot of pride and a sense of gratification in your process. This process that looks to those things, those relationships, those environments that support you and recognize your value. And that you are no longer chasing happiness. You're chasing the sense of emotional intelligence and the ability to navigate ways in which you can find the fulfillment, find those that do value you and support your efforts when it is possible that you honed your skills in an environment that was harsher. There's no sense here of, I'm getting a feeling that there was a great source of love in your family, in your background. Someone loved, cared for you, made provision for you so that you could move forward with your dreams. And that sense of love and support has never left you. Perhaps that individual passed away early or left you. Somehow there was a separation prematurely, so that sense of support was something I feel like you kept to yourself. You kept secret, you kept hidden. In the future, the Five of Cups. I do feel that there are so many different levels of relationship going on in this reading for you, Virgo. There's this sense that you have learned from a pattern that you now recognize shaped your past experience of relationships, efforts, failures that you experienced, disappointments you had. That is behavior that you've learned to take some responsibility for. You are less inclined to blame others for that. You're more relieved that you have been able to, you almost feel relief from the rejection you may have experienced. That sense of rejection somehow has kept you safe. And this goes to this sort of different sense I'm getting of support, love, provision, and this distrust in relationships, distrust of an experience of abandonment or a lack of experience with the kind of relationship that reflects a true match. There's something threatening about that for you. But I do feel that you've turned towards your own resources and that experience of taking responsibility for the disappointments you've had and really leaning into that as bolstering up this awareness of your own relationship, doing things for your own satisfaction, even if that creates a sense of isolation for you sometimes because that feels built in to the kind of work you do, the kind of community you're a part of. There's something that allows you to enjoy, to sink into your independent and individual labor. And that feels like a luxury that you quite likely are aligned with and appreciate. It's hard for you to give that up. It's hard for you to negotiate that your space with another. But I feel that it's something you are opening up to in perhaps addressing even an apology or receiving an apology. There's something in your energy about opening up to receiving something that has always been there. and that was perhaps bungled, or you prematurely separated from it, or you separated from it without ever truly closing it out. It almost feels like you rejected something and created a lot of pain and suffering for someone else. I hope this reading is resonating for you, Virgo. If it is, please like this video, share it with others if you feel inclined to do so. I appreciate your comments, your support, and your presence is really all I need. And I appreciate that immensely. So thank you for that. I'm going to clarify the Nine of Cups in the past with the Emperor. The Six of Staff is clarified by the Five of Swords, and the Five of Cups is clarified by the High Priestess and the Two of Swords. Okay. A lot of swords. So this is underscoring the fact that many of you quite possibly deal with language, words, presentations, speaking in a public way. I do believe many of you are writers, but communication is key to some of the healing that you're experiencing, some of the ways that you safely heal. A language is a way that you can be safe in your reflection. In the past, the Nine of Cups is clarified by the Emperor. Yeah, you take full responsibility for your reality. There's no one else who has created the kind of really quite powerful leadership that you exhibit in your life. It gives you a lot of satisfaction to be steering your own ship. However, you do that on behalf of a lot of people. There's something very strategic about the way that you don't try to control what others do. You don't try to control things you have no control over. Instead, you really focus your effort on controlling your expression, your output, your opportunities, your efforts, your behaviors in the best way possible that works for you, but keeps in mind the safety, the nurturance, the efforts of an entire group of people. I'm wanting to say that as a leader, you empower those that work with you or for you. If you are a teacher, you truly help others to find their gift or their light. And as a result of that, you understand how to create a certain healthy participation among those on your team or a part of your community or organization. In the present, the Six of Staff is clarified by the Five of Swords. I'm just getting a really mixed energy here that reflects upon this relationship that seems so key here. That you have been very successful in your work. You get a lot of attention. In fact, I feel that you're quite prideful about the work that you've accomplished in your position. But I also feel as though you are riddled by the kind of negative feedback and criticism you have received. And this can be in part a way that you have navigated this feedback, particularly if you speak in public, if you're a writer, if you're a teacher, if you have a consistent audience, rotating audiences, you are always subject to the experience of those to whom you speak, to whom you present. That is baked into the process, right? What do we learn from our students, from our audiences? And I feel like that has been a continual struggle for you. It can be about feeding into a sense of self-doubt, which you clearly have learned to overcome, but it is perhaps part of the process of teaching in general. Every class, every term is a new class. This is an example of an environment in which you can never just rest on a formula. I'm sure that many do, but that's not the kind of person you are. Every audience is a new audience, and you take your audiences seriously. This is where a relationship to an audience or a clientele or customers or students becomes a significant relationship. And so that feedback is what keeps you on your toes, keeps you doing your best, keeps you being a success, finding a way to help others to participate in a healthy and an equitable way. And in the future, so we have the Five of Cups here, you turning towards your own resources. The High Priestess and the Two of Swords both focus on reflection, memory, being able to see intuitively through time and space. This is what allows you to reclaim your authenticity through those heroes, ancestors, cultural exemplars that you are spiritually or intellectually aligned with. People who have imbued cultural value, significant value, or move the needle in some way for a whole group of people, for a community. And that feels as though it's about exposing some truth, some injustice, and you're feeling compelled to move in the direction of greater challenge, more justice, more impact, moving away from what's comfortable, what's tried and true, what you could do blindfolded, to what is requiring you to stretch and extend your vision in a way that you had not imagined would be available to you. It feels like you are having to lean into this idea of your original gift. And I'm not quite sure if this is about the way that you have learned to negotiate and the kind of support that you have received. It looks like historically you were seeded with something that you are now coming full circle to a recognition of your preparation to share in that experience. So I see some kind of critical partnership helping you in this endeavor in the future, this way of impacting a group, a community, a cultural field in a way that felt or could have felt unlikely in the past and now seems imminent for you. Perhaps the return of a significant partner, someone you worked with in the past, is part of your simply exchanging, closing out a truth of that relationship so that you can move forward with the advantage of that information, that emotional closure, or that consult that this person is uniquely capable of gifting you with. This feels like it's about trust at some key level, trusting yourself, trusting that you're worthy of love, that you're worthy of the attention that you are receiving, worthy of the opportunities that are coming your way, opportunities for some kind of significant victory. And I pull the serpentine, and the key word is transformation. My life is transforming at the perfect time in the most powerful way. I like this. Thank you so much, Virgo, for this beautiful reading. Until next time, namaste.